Welcome back, everyone. Today we have a Beckett Grading Service submission reveal. For those of you who don't know, Fastbreak Sports is a BGS drop-off site. So if you've got a card you like graded, bring it in. We'll tell you whether or not we should send it in by taking a quick look at it. Sometimes customers decide to send them in anyway because it's a PC card that they just want to have slabs. So today, here we go. Just got it back. Took about 3 months for us to get it. And if this is the type of video you guys like, now's a good time for me to say click like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook to see cool stuff like this. So this is what Beckett sends stuff back in. Alright, so let's start. What do we got first? We have 0910 Upper Deck Steph Curry short print. This came back a 9.5. So centering was a 10. 9.5 is on the other three subgrades. So that is a spectacular looking, great looking card. Fantastic card. Steph Curry rookie. Whoever sent that off is going to be quite pleased. Moving on. Wow, this is a 96-97 metal Kobe Bryant. This came back a 9.5, 3 9.5s. The corners got a 9, the rest were 9.5s. But this is a pretty hard card to get graded. The edges on this will sometimes be chipped. And then here on the back of the card, there's usually not too many issues here. Sometimes there's chipping around the edges on this particular card. But with these silver borders like this, sometimes you can just get absolutely destroyed on the grade. So 2 out of 2. We have started off fantastic. Let's keep it rolling. All right, another Kobe. This is the 98 Metal Universe Planet Metal. This was an insert card. The grades, it looks like what held this back was edges 8.5, corners 9, surface 9, centering 9.5. Pretty clean card. Another deal here with the black edges on the back can be a major chipping problem with this card, but nonetheless, Kobe Bryant Planet Metal 9. Still doing good. And we've hit a snag. We've got an 8.5 Flair Showcase Kobe Bryant here. The surface got an 8, and for those of you who've had Flair Showcase cards know they are condition sensitive on the surface. So an 8 is disappointing, but sometimes expected. Corners were 9, edges 9.5, centering 9. So there's your Kobe. Next up, another 8.5. So we hit a couple 8.5s, some snags here. We've got centering 8.5, corners 8.5, edges 8, and surface 9. So sometimes when we have die cut cards like this one, sometimes the edges can be a problem. But most of the time you can see those edging problems before you send them off. So this one, little disappointing on the 8.5. Incredibly pretty card, but it is what it is. 8.5. Let's move on. We have a 9 Luka Doncic. This is the 18-19 Select. 8.5, 9.5. Corners got a 10. Surface was a 9.5 on this, so probably a little disappointed in here. We needed a 9.5 on, basic rookie cards like this. 9s usually don't help you out too much on price, but regardless, a 9 on Luka. Cut above, Allen Iverson, 6.5. Edges were a 5.5. Once again, this is a die cut, and that can be a problem. And this time, it was a major problem. So, maybe even under magnification, they could see some problems with the edging here across the top. Without getting a professional magnification on this, to the naked eye, it's just hard to see problems with stuff like that. So that's pretty disappointing on this card. I'm sure whoever sent this off is going to be disappointed. All the other grades were fine. Surface was an 8.5, corners were a 9, centering was a 9.5, but the edges just absolutely destroyed the overall grade of this card. 6.5. Vintage. How about this? Bob Clemente, 1965 Topps, came back a 6, EX Mint. Card is incredibly clean. For those of you who don't know too, anything pre-1980 will not have subgrades, so we won't know what caused this card to be a 6, but it's off-centered from left to right, which is incredibly common for any vintage cards, so that was obvious when it was sent off. But this coming back a 6 on this very clean card is quite fine. So 6, Bob Clemente, 1965 Topps. A 5-5 1967 Topps Mickey Mantle card. Once again, no subs pre-1980, but a 5-5 excellent plus. Probably, I know the corners on this card were a little soft, which is fine. The surface wasn't a problem. The centering's a little off from right to left, top to bottom just a little bit there as well. But a pretty clean card. Like I said, those corners are a little soft, but outside of that, a 5-5 Mickey Mantle. How about this? Wayne Gretzky, 1979-80 Topps. This came back a 6. No subs, but a very clean card, off-centered left to right, top to bottom. Pretty good top to bottom on that one there. The color looks pretty decent for a Gretzky. Everything on the back looks quite fine, but this is actually pretty cool because most of the Gretzkys that friends and other colleagues have sent in have come back is either altered, trimmed, or questionable. So this actually being graded is fantastic. Probably not happy with the 6. I know whose card this is, so they're probably not going to be too pleased with that 6, but regardless, it came back authentic, and I'm sure they'll be happy about that. Here we go. So we were all here at the shop wondering what the grade of this card would be because it is so cool. 1952 Bowman Mickey Mantle came back a 1.5, and we thought it would be a 1, or it would come back just as authentic and ungradable. So this is a win, absolute win on this at a 1.5. It's got so many problems, too numerous to mention. I mean, you all can see there, it's not been abused, but it has been well handled, and the stains are just, yeah, we thought this would probably just come back as authentic. Huge win coming back a 1.5. We're pleased with that. Ernie Banks, 1955 Topps. This came back a 3. And soft edges, or soft corners, I should say, centering off left to right. Top to bottom centering's not bad there. Flipped over, everything on the back looks like any other probably 55 Topps would that came out of a collection that we had purchased. So anyway, a 3 on the 1955 Topps Ernie Banks. Willie Mays, 1954 Topps. This came back a 2.5. It's off-centered left to right. It has some surface issues, some color issues as well. Top to bottom centering, not bad at all. Everything else here is pretty standard for what we thought. Edges were soft, corners were soft. When it comes to grades on vintage cards, especially 1950s cards, it's hard for us to determine a price. So sending these cards in and getting them graded lets us really break down what we should be asking for these cards. So the grade wasn't incredibly important to us. We just need to know what we need to charge for a card that's this old, that's very subjective when it comes to condition. So 2.5. Moving on. Sandy Koufax, 1955 Topps, a 2.5. And I think we probably expected about probably a 3 to 3.5 on this. So they were a little harsher on it. It does have a little crease right down here. It's off-centered from left to right and top to bottom. The rest of the card's pretty clean. The back is very clean. But like I said, not knowing what to put as a sticker value on something like this, it really helps us narrow down how much we need to ask for the card so we don't have to haggle with customers about condition, right? Makes all the sense in the world. So we've got another 1955 Topps Jackie Robinson. This is a 3.5. It has a lot of the same issues as the Koufax does. Centering left to right, way off centered. We've got spider crease here. Top right corner's pretty soft. Bottom right corner actually has a little bit of a crease on it there. The color's not bad. A little bit of color problems there on behind Jackie there with that black. But outside of that, Very nice card, 3.5. So we're probably quite fine with the 3.5 there. We probably thought more of a 2.5 on this. So actually we did a little bit better than what we thought. All right. 1955 Topps Ted Williams. This came back a 1, and we actually thought this might just come back as an authentic card. It's got numerous problems, a little bit like the Mantle Bowman we looked at a little earlier. Centering left to right, crease on the top right-hand corner. And the reason, not only reason we sent some of these off when we knew we were going to get lower grades, is lower grades are very expected. I have a Walter Payton rookie that got graded a 5 that looks fresh out of the pack. It's incredibly nice, little off-center, but the deal is knowing what to charge somebody for something like this who can't afford a 7 or an 8 of Ted Williams. They'll be able to afford a graded copy of a Ted Williams, an authentic Ted Williams 1955. We know it's not been trimmed. We know it's an authentic card. So it just coming back any grade is a win for us because now we can determine what we need to charge for it. So, very cool. These vintage cards are so fun. 1954 Topps Ernie Banks came back a 3. Centering left to right, off. Top to bottom, off on centering. Color looks decent. A little bit of a surface problem there. You can see along his hat more of the surface problems than anywhere else on the card. We flip it over. These green backs here on the bottom show edging problems so bad, and no exception on this card. Anyway, we are very pleased with the 3, and now we know when we sell this card, we know it's authentic, we know it's not been trimmed, and we can ask a fair price for it. 1956 Topps Jackie Robinson. It came back a 3. This is the gray back. Centering left to right, off, top to bottom, not as bad as left to right. Incredibly nice card, and once again, just so cool to see these cards come back authentic, not altered, not trimmed. Next up, 56 Topps Jackie. This one came back a 2.5. So the difference between the 2.5 and the 3, this one's actually better centered, but does have more problems. It's got a few spider creases on it. The centering's way better. Color's a little off here. You can kind of see some color issues here on the card. Everything else looks pretty decent. The back looks pretty good there. We'll be happy with the 2.5, and someone is going to walk out of the store purchasing this knowing the 2.5 and it's an authentic card. 1955 Bowman, Yogi Berra. This came back a 2.5. Obvious problems all around the edges. The corners are soft. 2.5, very expected on this card. Back looks really clean. The front is where all the wear and tear is shown on these brown borders. Really show anything that could be considered a flaw. This card is no exception. 2.5, Yogi. Okay, so this is the Jackie. So this is what I was afraid of on altered cards. So they say this is an erased surface. So I'm wondering, what they're saying here is it's probably been polished at some point in time to maybe get some surface issues off of the card. It did come back as authentic, so we're going to have to determine here as a store how we're going to try to sell this card now that we know that the front, according to Beckett anyway, has been altered. And this says a substance has been added. On the front is what they're saying here. And I wonder what in the world they could be talking about. For those of you who don't know, we bought a giant half million card collection from a gentleman who collected these from his youth. So we know that they weren't trimmed. We know that they weren't altered or any other, I don't know, way to try to get around trying to get a better grade or whatever. So we know that this card hasn't had a substance added. I wonder what they looked at to determine such a feat. But disappointing. We really just wanted this to come back as authentic and unaltered. But they're saying a substance has been added to the front. Outside of a coffee stain, I'm not too sure what substance they'd be talking about. But anyway, disappointing on the Clemente there, to say the least. 1956 Mickey Mantle. We've got a 5.5 on this Mantle, so very happy with this grade. Incredibly pleased. Centering's pretty good. Top to bottom, a little off. Left to right is very good on the centering there. Back of the card, super clean. 5.5 Mickey Mantle. Very happy with that. Same card, 1.5. Very, very expected on this one too. We've got some creases here on the left-hand side. All four corners are rounded. It's not been abused by any means, but it's been well handled by a collector from way back in the day. Bought originally out of a 1954 Topps pack, mind you. So the years were not kind to old Mickey, and this 1956 Topps card, still incredibly nice. And what's cool about stuff like that is here in the store, we've got a lot of people who couldn't afford a very nice, clean 56 Topps Mantle. So now they'll be able to afford one at a 1.5 grade, and they won't have to sell their car to afford it. 1956 Topps Roberto Clemente. This came back at 2.5. Centering left to right off, top to bottom as well. Color's a little faded. It does have some spider creases in it, but at a 2.5, someone is going to be able to afford a Roberto Clemente card and not, again, have to mortgage their house to afford it. All right, we're halfway done. Looks like we're going back into some modern stuff here. So, boy, they packaged that tight in there. There we go. All right, we have a Signature Series Topps Archive, Paul Goldschmidt, Topps Legends. This is a 1 of 1. I'll bring this up to the camera just a little bit closer so you guys can see it. 1 of 1. The autograph was graded a 10. The overall card is an 8.5. Boy, they got the surface on this one at an 8. So outside of their magnification and what surface problems that this card could have, that one definitely escaped us as far as what the grade would be, because we were pretty dead on everything else. We figured this would come back a 9, 9.5. But the surface destroyed the overall grade. But at 8.5, at a 1 of 1, it's 1 of 1, right? Who cares? I'm sure this is going into a PC collection, so they'll be happy just to have it encased and forever at that grade. Nolan Arenado. This is numbered 4 of 50. This is the Topps Museum Collection Archival Autographs. This is the copper. Corners got an 8, centering 9, edges 9, and surface 9.5. And this is a thicker card, so I'm sure they found a problem with one of these corners to the naked eye. I don't see it. But regardless, 8.5 near mint on Nolan. Ah, happier days here. We haven't had one of these in a while. How about this? 10. Juan Soto, numbered out of 150. Centering 10, edges 10, corners 10, surface 9.5. This was 0.5 off from being a black label Beckett graded card. So a 10 pristine on Juan Soto. Absolutely gorgeous card. The autograph got a 10. Well, there's our winner so far of our graded submission. That is an incredibly nice card. Someone's going to be so happy with that incredible grade of a 10. Scotty Barnes autograph, leaf metal, 9.5 overall grade, a 10 autograph. Straight 9.5s, except surface got a 9. So I'm sure whoever sent this Scotty Barnes in is going to be very happy with that grade. Oh, what timing. Rookie of the Year will be announced soon. Julio Rodriguez. This is the 87 Topps Throwback Autograph. 9.5 overall grade, 10 autograph. Centering 9.5. Edges 9.5. Corners 9 and a surface a 10 on this J-Rod. Gorgeous autograph rookie. I know whose card this is. They're going to be very pleased with that grade. All right, we've got a Rafael Devers. This is the Topps Turkey Red. This is a 9 autograph. This is another 1 of 1. And You can see the 1 of 1 right there. So incredibly nice card. The edges got an 8.5. Surface and corners were 9. Centering was a 9.5 on this. So very nice card. Probably hoping for a 9.5 there, but a 9 will have to do. Michael Jordan. This is an 0809 Upper Deck Radiance. 9.5s across the board except the surface got an 8.5. Condition sensitive card. Once again, surface. Sometimes there'll be flaws with it that the naked eye can't see. Numbered out of 299 and a 9 overall grade. This is cool. All right, 1958 Topps. Ted Williams got a 5. No subgrades, obviously, since it's a pre-1980 card. Just a great card. The thing is with some of these 1958s is the color on the background can make or break a card. So this yellow background, if it has any flaws in it at all, it sticks out like a sore thumb. So this 1958 Topps Ted Williams 5 is definitely a win for the store. Pop dropped them all off the edge there. That would have been nice. All right, so we've got a 2021 Topps Luminaries Home Run Kings autograph. This is a Vlad Jr. Came back a 9.5. Straight 9.5. Surface got a 9. This one's numbered out of 15. I'll zoom in there and show you that numbered out of 15. Very nice card. Autograph was not graded on this one. They just graded the card separately. So a 9.5 there. So one of our new customers who collects Yu-Gi-Oh cards brought this in, and this is the promo card, Dark Duel Stories. This is the White Dragon Blue Eyes card. Incredibly rare card for those of you who do recognize rarity when it comes to gaming cards, and especially Yu-Gi-Oh. We looked at this card before they sent it off. It looked fantastic. The problem a lot of the times with Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon cards are the corners. It's very easy to see problems with corners, and they saw apparently more problems than we saw because they gave the corners an 8, surface was a 9, edges were a 9, centering was an 8.5. I talked to this customer when they brought it in. We were hoping for a 9 and, crossing our fingers for a 9.5. So this 8.5 will be disappointing, but it'll be a lot easier to sell now that we have a grade on the card. Many people with these gaming cards, they don't like to buy non-graded. So at least it's graded now. Knowing the score before you go in is always good. So we have an Albert Pujols 2001 Topps traded. Grade was a 9. We had 2 9.5s, 2 9s. So this was incredibly close to being a 9.5. So a bit disappointing on this Albert. With these green borders, I mean, any chipping at all is very easily seen. So the edges were a 9. The corners were a 9. Surface at the 9.5 and the centering a 9.5 was expected. But it's always a crapshoot when it comes to edges and corners, especially with those 2001 Topps cards. So we have a 2002 Yu-Gi-Oh! Promo Dark Duel Series. This is the Magician. This came back an 8, and they gave the surface a 7. And that's pretty much why this card graded out an 8 overall grade. The corners were an 8, edges 8.5, centering was a 9. So I don't know a whole lot about the rarity of this card. I'm sure since it's a promo card, it probably was very rare. So hopefully our customer isn't too disappointed with that. I don't think they're going to be jumping for joy on an 8. 2017 Panini Prism Patrick Mahomes rookie. This came back a 9. 2 9.5s. The corners got a 9 and surface got an 8.5. So this was, I wouldn't say close to a 9.5, but it was pretty close there. The surface, once again, we've said it a million times, but the surface on these high gloss cards, always shiny. Once they get them under magnification, they can see things that we can't see with the naked eye, and that came back an overall 9. So this is an incredibly pretty card. This is a Zach Wilson 2021 Select Artistic Selection Prism Gold. Came back a 9.5. Edges were a 10, centering 9.5, corners 9.5, and the surface was an 8. So this coming back a 9.5 is probably very, this should make the customer very happy, but this is number 1 of 10. So incredibly rare card coming back a 9.5. Should be very pleased with that overall grade. This is incredibly nice. How about an 81 Topps Joe Montana rookie card, 8.5. Corners were an 8.5, surface was an 8.5, edges and centering 9 and 8 respectively. So this 8.5 overall grade is very acceptable. These cards are always off-centered. Every time someone brings them in to sell, they're always off-centered. So this coming back with the centering on the 8, which was the lowest grade, was incredibly expected, but the 8.5 overall grade on the Montana is nice, and I'm sure our customer will be happy with that overall grade. And the same customer also had this. This is the 1986 Topps Jerry Rice rookie, came back in 8.5, centering 8.5, edges 9, corners 8.5, and surface an 8.5 with the overall 8.5 grade. So kind of like the same with Montana. Usually off-centered. The colors on this can usually have some fading. The green edges show chipping so easily. So an 8.5 grade on the Jerry, very acceptable. All right, Justin Herbert, 2020 Select Rookie. This came back a 9.5. 9.5 corners, 9 surface, edges 9.5, centering 9.5. So pretty clean 9.5 Justin Herbert Rookie. We're down to about 6 cards here. 1953 Topps, Jackie Robinson, 2.5. As with all of those early 1950s cards, we knew this was going to be a lower grade, and we were going to be quite pleased with any lower grade because we just need to know if it's authentic, hasn't been altered. Easier to sell, easier for us to price for our customers too when we know the exact condition of the cards. So we are pleased with the 2.5 and that it came back authentic. 1953 Topps, Eddie Matthews, 3.5. Obvious problems with this one, surface problems. It's got a obvious flaw here on the bottom left with this black edge and corner. Top left corner is rounded quite a bit. But to find a 1953 Topps Eddie Matthews in any better condition and getting a fair price on it, we're very happy with the 3.5 there on Mr. Eddie Matthews. Moving on, Satchel Paige 1953 Topps is a 2. All the same problems as all these early 50s, as I've said numerous times. A 2 was incredibly expected. We thought this would actually be a 1, so this is a win in our book, and we'll take the 2 on Satchel Paige. 1954 Topps Henry Aaron. This one came back a 3.5. And why is this discoloring on the top left corner here? It's quite obvious that this was going to heavily affect the card. Off-center left to right, top to bottom as well. But this Hank Aaron here, we've got about 3 customers who are going to be fighting over this. And now that we know the overall grade, we'll know a fair price to charge. And this will go into a PC collection that I'm sure someone's going to be very, very happy to have. 1956 Topps Sandy Koufax. This is the grayback. This came back a 3.5. So Mr. Sandy here is off-centered left to right. Some coloring issues here on the top right side. Top to bottom centering is also off. But like all these early 50s Topps, we were happy that it came back authentic. 3.5 is a very acceptable grade on Sandy. I believe we're down to 2 cards here. 1956 Topps, Roberto Clemente grayback. This came back a 2. I sound like a broken record, but everything I've said previously holds true here. Centering off, top to bottom, left to right. There's a few creases in the card, nothing egregious. This card has not been abused in the least bit, but a 2 here gives us a very good starting point on what we need to charge for it. 1956 Topps, this is Mr. Ted Williams. It came back a 3, very good. If you look at this card, left to right, centering's pretty decent, top to bottom is off. This top right corner actually has a pretty noticeable flaw here. It looks like just some discoloration there just from age more than anything, and we've got it on the top and the bottom left corner here. But once again, we have so many customers who want to be able to afford these vintage cards, but at a much higher grade, they'd never be able to afford them. So at this price point, one of our customers is going to be very happy to walk away with a Ted Williams 3. So That's it, guys. There is your Beckett reveal. For the most part, I was happy. The two altered cards were incredibly disappointing, and without them telling us exactly, what the one of them said erase surface and one of them had a substance added. Without them telling us exactly where they found these things, we'll never know. But we do know that the card is authentic, and we'll be able to find a good home for those two cards. So if you have any questions about anything, drop them down in the comments section. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you like this type of video, make sure you click like, subscribe for more content just like it. We'll see you guys at Fastbreak. Thanks for watching.